Hello, and you're all very welcome along to another episode of the Gaelic Statsman podcast. It's worth noting as well, this is the 100th episode of the podcast, so quite a special occasion in this one. And I'm delighted to be joined by a guest that has been on the podcast so many times. One of, I think, 5 dubs at this stage on the podcast, which I think is more than any other county other than Cork. That's a fact for you. I'll put up that post in a sec as well. So, yeah, I'm delighted to have Seamus Brady, of course, on the podcast today and to discuss this weekend's games, obviously, and discuss the week's stories in Gaelic games. So, how are you, Seamus, at the moment? It's yeah, we're entering another weekend of club action and a few controversial stories too.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to dive into it, Matthew. Congratulations on the 100th episode. You made the smart decision of numbering your podcast episodes. I have absolutely zero idea what number I'm on, but yeah, no, delighted to be here. It's been fun. It's been fun reviewing all the games and having all those great discussions down through the years. Looking forward to another one here.
Exactly. So yeah, and we will get onto the games in a sec. But there's 2 stories in particular that are in the week of Gaelic games. We discuss more stories at James' podcast on Clay. Check that out if you haven't already. One of the stories we're going to discuss on this podcast as well. I discussed it with Aaron Links on Gaelic Games Fan TV as well on Monday night. So check that out if you haven't already. And the story that, of course, I am talking about is this club charter. And to this day, we still can't name the club on who this club charter is about, but bring up the charter here, and it is worrying. We said this on your podcast. It is incredibly worrying for the game. And what Aaron actually said on his podcast that you were wondering, is it true or not? Aaron said it is actually true because players were replying to tweets and saying, yes, I am on that panel, and it was true. So I'll just read about these charter guidelines here. So anyone planning trips to Australia, America, and Canada, etc., over the summer can take part in the senior panel for 2024. No holidays during the championship, June to October, unless approved by management and the leadership group. Unapproved holidays mean suspension or removal from the panel. Number 3, no drinking during championship, June to October, unless approved by management, etc., etc. Number 4, pre-Christmas individual running conditioning program for listed training panel all needs to be logged on an app. Rule number 5, June to March collective running and strength and conditioning work, mandatory attendances and fitness test markers pre, middle and end. Rule number 6, logging of activity on the app for all other panel members on a consistent basis is 90%. Rule number 7, commitments to treating league 20 lead to team fundraising activity 15,000 and to players training funding thereafter. Now, this is where it gets controversial, the last 3 rules, and I'll read them here. Rule number 9, commitment for Dublin and Limerick lads to attend training once a week come January. Rule number 10, no other sporting commitments past June, soccer, golf, rugby, athletics, etc. And we discussed this on your podcast, Walking the Dog counts as well, apparently. And rule number 11, commitment to train at highest levels all of the time. Commitments to achieving fitness and conditioning targets as set down by management. Seamus, like reading that even now is like it's almost like, am I actually reading this? It's awful in many ways. It's been discussed in many podcasts, and even Paddy Andrews and James O'Donoghue in the football pod earlier on the week had an issue with it, and we've all had issues with it. But general thoughts on this, like you're hoping that it isn't real, but as Aaron said on Monday night, it appears to be real.
Yeah, nobody's come out and it hasn't come out that it's fake yet. And the fact that the club hasn't been named would tell me that it's starting to look like it is real, which is embarrassing for whoever put that together. Like, I mean, that looks like something that someone who got kicked out of the army would have put together. This need to have absolute control over a group of individuals. And then on top of that, like, that looks like something that Rory Stories would do a skit on. Do you know what I mean? Like, playing for a club team in 2024. Can I go on holidays? No. Can I drink? No. Can I play golf? No. Like, for what? If I seen that and I was in that club, I wouldn't commit to that. I'm just honestly saying that. Like, don't get me wrong, put the work in, but have a life on the side of it, especially if it's for a club. And, like, this is what I'm talking about. When I said it a couple of years ago, like, you can go back and look at my video. Well, Matthew comes back in, I'll repeat this to him. But you look back in at my video from 2022 August when Shane Walsh jumped to Kilmacud Crokes, and I was saying that there's a serious possibility that the club championship will go professional through the split season because. All right, I'll just repeat what I was saying to you there. We're live, aren't we?
No, we're recording.
Oh, deadly. Okay, so basically what I was saying there is, I was saying when you look at this, I said this back in August 2022, that I said that Shane Walsh, when he transferred to Kilmacud Crokes, I said at the time that I felt that there was a serious possibility that the club championship makes the games go professional, because the more you have a split season in place and the more you don't have any rules preventing clubs from taking it to the next level, making it more serious, trying to get new players to come into their clubs, then the standard of club championship gets a lot higher, and all of a sudden it's an inter-county standard, meaning that the players go non-stop for 12 months a year, and then it has to pretty much become professional because they don't have a life outside of it.
That's exactly it. So, like, has the game gotten too professional in your opinion? Like, it's like, look at that charter. It's even for a club team. Like, if that is the attitude for clubs, I'd worry.
Here, this is ridiculous. But as you said, seems to be real, which is even more worrying. Apologies. Yeah, no, I was finished the point there.
Oh yeah, okay. Jeez, I thought you were going to continue there, but yeah, it is a big story, and of course, it was discussed on many podcasts earlier on the week, and it will be discussed probably in the next few weeks as well. One story that wasn't discussed in the podcast this week, but it was discussed on RT News yesterday, is we've been down this road before. LGFA and Camogie clashes, and we will discuss the Camogie and the LGFA senior championships in a bit. But this includes some of the intermediate championships and one senior team, obviously Sarsfields from Cork as well. Now, this is the story here. It involves two clubs, well, Sarsfields and Glanmire, which are two kind of clubs in Cork. Sarsfields, the hurling club, and Glanmire, the football club, and the Fianna for Meath are the two clubs involved. And look at the way I paraphrased the news story from RT on my Instagram yesterday. 12 players for the Fianna and Meath and 9 players for Glanmire / Sarsfields in Cork have a hectic schedule this weekend. So that's a total of 21 players to have a hectic schedule this weekend, have a game on a Saturday and then a Sunday. The Fianna have an All-Ireland Intermediate Camogie semi-final on Saturday against Eagles from Tyrone in County Louth, while Sars face their Galway namesakes in the Senior Camogie semi-final in Mallow on the same day. We'll discuss that Sarsfields v Sarsfields clash in a bit on this podcast too. The Fianna and Glanmire then play each other in Mallow in the All-Ireland Intermediate LGFA semi-final on Sunday. Worth noting too that Glanmire had a game in London last Saturday after flying over the Atlantic on Friday evening. Their dual stars had to fly back on Saturday for a game in Tipperary on Sunday. For Sarsfields, that was the Munster Camogie final against Drummond Inch, if anybody doesn't know that. Two players even started both games in London and Tip, Ellen Murphy and Evie Toomey. So for them two girls, it must have been absolutely, draining at the weekend or last weekend, and probably will be this weekend too. Camogie and LGFA All-Ireland finals are, as of now, to be played on December 16th to 17th. So that's the reasoning why they can't manoeuvre. But I'd be asking Seamus, why can't they put one of the LGFA and Camogie this weekend and one next weekend? Doesn't that make more sense?
Especially when they were willing to do it for Naas. Just like that.
Yeah.
Naas looked like they might be in the same position. They looked like they might be in the Leinster final for both. And they were ready to move heaven and earth immediately. It's not even moving heaven and earth. It's literally just a bit of basic respect for the players. This whole thing of stamping out the dual player now has become quite common. Make it as hard as possible for people to play both. And yeah, it just absolutely disgusts me, the lack of respect for these players. And like you were talking about, like the running counter on the podcast, how many episodes? I'd love to know how many episodes you talked about this in. Like, because it's so common. We talk about it during the season, Hannah Looney and Maeve Cahalane and Libby Coppinger, and the disrespect they were shown when they were playing for Cork, like they had inter-county fixtures being on the same day, like ridiculous things like that. But the reality is that they're a different organisation, and the LGFA are out on their own as an organisation, and they don't care about anybody else. They put themselves first. Whenever they want to play the fixture is when they play the fixture, and they really don't care who they screw over in the process. They said, okay, well, Hannah and Libby, and like, you want to play a game for Cork Camogie? Cool, we're going to play at 2:00. So you have 3 hours to drive yourself down to the football match. But then on the other side with the GAA, the minute a club team like Nace looks like they might get to a hurling final and a football final, oh, they're already ready to switch. In fact, I'll do you one better. Last year, Kilmacud Crokes switched fixtures. They switched the weekend because they'd made it to the Leinster in the hurling and the football. And Brian Sheehy was the only player in Kilmacud Crokes who played for both the footballers and the hurlers, and they still switched the fixtures.
I think those fixtures are on the same day, no?
Yeah, they're on the same day, but they switched them. So they showed one guy who didn't even start for the footballers. They showed one substitute for the footballers more respect than they show for the inter-county footballers and hurlers on the other side. And yeah, it's just different organisations. So the one that has more power, I would say, is the LGFA, and they put themselves first and have done all year.
And the thing is as well, like even Sean Ennis, the lead LGFA captain, has come out about this. She's part of the Phoenix club and she proudly plays camogie as well. And she's absolutely devastated by this in fairness. And it probably, like, it epitomises why going on a dual run isn't good for a club in many ways nowadays, because they're just going to be, unfairly treated no matter what happens. And even some quotes from Niamh O'Callaghan, the Sarsfield's camogie player. I don't think she plays LGFA for Glanmire, but she's sitting off the ball to Aisling O'Reilly this week. It has to come down to the communication from both associations. It feels like we're saying this for a year now, or even more, which is a shame. It really is. And does that, do dual clubs really suffer from this? Because this is a prime example of it.
Yeah, and like, this is the truth, is that as long as the LGFA and the Camogie are separate organisations away from the GAA, this is going to happen again and again and again and again and again. It's never going to stop. Definition of madness, we all know that. So the first step that needs to change is the LGFA and the GAA and the Camogie all need to merge under the GAA's name. It goes down to petty little things like that. Croke Park isn't allowed to sell like a little figure of the Bob O'Keefe Cup because the LGFA hold the rights to that. This year, the GAA came out and did these Top Trump style things where they called it Cool Heroes, and it was basically like a Match Attacks version of GAA players. There were no female players in there because they didn't have the rights to them. And the average GAA fan is not going to know that, and they're just going to think that they're just leaving the female players out, which is not good. It's not good for the game. It's not good for the young people who are buying those cards. And a young girl buys those cards and think, why is there only male players in these cards? So the sooner the organizations and the associations come together and every player starts getting treated the same, the better.
Exactly. So I couldn't say it much better myself. And hopefully the situation gets resolved. It probably won't before this weekend. And I'll feel for the players in general. In fairness to, I know
Of course it
Sarsfields and
won't.
Glanmire.
Imagine the only way this gets sorted is if they both boycott the game, and I absolutely hope that they do. I hope they boycott the game, and I hope they kick up a stink over this. Because they're both in it, aren't they?
They're both in the semi-final on Sunday. It's the Fina against Glanmire on Sunday in Mallow.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I hope they do. I really hope they do. Yeah. Because this is ridiculous. It's been carrying on for ages. And I just hope, like, it would make me so happy if I just woke up and heard the LGFA, Camogie, and GAA are all merging under the GAA's banner. Every player is going to get equal treatment. They all get the same charter. They all get the same costs. They all get taken care of the same way, and they're all treated the same. And there's no more fixture clashes, and there's respect for every athlete that crosses that line. Wouldn't that be
Yeah,
great?
it would be, yeah. But like, I hope they boycott the game. I really hope they
Yeah.
boycott the game. But like, I'm feeling that this kind of situation, like it was the same in the summer, even after Libby Coppinger the other Cork Jewel players. I think Aoife Healy was the other one. They played on the same day, or the Callahan, another one. They played on the same day, and then this situation kind of blows over. I hope it's not the same situation in this club instance. It's disgraceful in its own right, and hopefully it will get fixed sooner rather than later. But we will get onto the games now, and we'll start off with the All Ireland Football Championship. We'll start off we're still in the provincial stages, but we're effectively in the quarterfinals of both the All Ireland Hurling and Football Club Championships. And I'll just give you the football bracket here before we discuss the game. So Naas are playing Kilmacud Crokes. The winners of that play the winners of Glen and Scottstown in early January. You have St. Bridget's against Carfin. That's this weekend. We'll discuss that too. And Castlehaven and Dingle is next week. And that semi-final will also be at the start of January. But we'll start off with the first game of the weekend in football, and it is in Croke Park. It is Naas against Kilmacud Crokes, the Kildare champions against the Dublin champions on RT2 at 2:15 on Saturday. Look, it's a weird one, this one, because like on many people's rankings, you probably have Kilmacud Crokes number 1 and Naas number 8 out of the 8 teams left. So does that kind of sway it in Kilmacud's favour, or do Naas have a chance in this game?
Well, Kilmacud are definitely the favourites. There's no question about that. Last year, I thought the game between the two was very, very interesting, but Kilmacud struck at decisive moments. This year, Crokes have just kind of chose their time. Like they were stuttering through the Dublin Championship up until the final, and then they absolutely annihilated Ballybowden in the final. They've had no issues at all with Era Og, and who was the other team they played off the top of my head?
In fairness against RD
Somehow
St.
forgot
Mary's,
who. St. Mary's
against
RD,
RD
yeah,
St.
St. Mary's
Mary's,
RD.
they definitely had a chance. And RD St. Mary's definitely had a chance in that game. I think it was 2 points at one point.
Oh no, and like the St. Mary's RD game, I think was actually very, very good for them. There was a comment that came into my video when we were talking about it, and it said that like that could have done them the world of good. I think it was into Aaron's video actually that challenge could have done it the world of good, that they just got checked just before the final, and now they've gotten over another challenge before the Naas game, because the Naas game is going to be more difficult. I think it's in Croke Park. Kilmacud suit that pitch, I would say, a bit better. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. The one I'm really interested to see is I'm very interested to see how Theo Clancy will do on Derek Kieran, because Theo Clancy looks like he's born to play fullback for Dublin. He's an absolutely outstanding defender, and he's in his early 20s. He's big, he's quick, he's a very, very good tackler. He just looks born for the position. And marking someone like Derek Kieran, who's in the form that he is in, and a top class inter-county forward, if Theo Clancy marks Derek Kieran and shuts him down, you know he's ready for the position next year. So it'll be very, very interested to see that side as well. Be very interested to see how Naas are going to go about handling Shane Walsh and Paul Mannion and Darren Mullen. It's going to be a good game.
It is definitely, and you mentioned Dark Huron there, and actually the Leinster final in 2021 that year, I think it was 2021, 2022 season. Dark Huron was actually missing for that game. So was Paul Mannion, and a lot of Naas fans were saying that we lost that game because we missed our talisman, obviously Dark Huron. So will he make a huge difference on Saturday once the game comes?
He will, because he's been a guaranteed go-to scorer in each of the games. Like, he's the go-to man. He's the target. He scored most of their scores. And not only that, the timing as well. He got the goal in extra time against St. Lomans. He's been their go-to key man. So he's crucial. Having him back in the side is absolutely crucial. And but yeah, on the other side, Paul Munnion's back. And I actually would be interested if you were Nace. Would you take Paul Mannion being there for Derek Kieran being there? Because Mannion is just as capable as doing as much damage down the other end. And we saw he hit 5 points from play against St. Mary's RD in the semi-final. So Mannion's on form. And that's a big, big issue for Nace coming into this final.
It is, and worth noting as well that final that we were talking about with Kieran and Mannion missing, there was no Shane Walsh that time either. That was the season where they lost the final to Kilcoo. So that's another headache that they have to deal with in a way. And yeah, the last year's game in Parnell Park, I think it was in Parnell Park, wasn't it? That Leinster quarter final last year, where Kilmacud ran asunder them in the first half and just managed them in the second half. So,
but that was one where Darren Mullen got the cheeky goal.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. But are you expecting that sort of a game this Saturday, or are you expecting the game more to follow the same lines as the Leinster final 2 years ago?
I'm just expecting Kilmacud to win. I know, like that. I don't really know how, but I just expect them to find a way. Crokes can win pretty much any way you want to play. If you want to play a tight defensive game, Crokes will outpoint you. And they have more shooters in the team than most teams have. They've lads like Shane Cunningham, Darren Mullen, Paul Mannion, Shane Walsh that can all take the shot if they're called upon. Whereas Nace are going to try and work it to Derek Kieran as much as they possibly can. So that's a massive advantage that Kilmacud Crokes have right off the bat. If you allow them to do their stuff, they can absolutely blow you away. So I think if Nace go toe-to-toe with Crokes, I think Crokes could blow them away. So I don't think Nace will do that. I think Nace will play more defensive than we've seen them play. I think they'll try and stay in the game for long periods. But I think Kilmacud Crokes will win this game by about 5 points if I had to be pushed on a prediction right now.
Yeah, it looks that way, all right. Like Kilmacud look very good at the moment, and they are the bogey's favourites to win the All-Ireland again. And yeah, I'll probably back Kilmacud Crokes as well to win this game. Like Nace, they've done well to get this far, but like maybe it's just a step too far for them. But in the semi-final against Lomans, they were under the caution in some parts of that game, and they came through it with flying colours in fairness to them in extra time. But it'll be interesting to see what sort of a game it will be on Saturday. And the second provincial football, men's football final this weekend at senior level at least is Corofin against St. Bridget's at 1:30 on TG Car. Like this is an interesting game in its own right. The Corofin are going along nicely. They're coming back into the club scene nicely as well. But Bridget's, like if Brian Stack is fit, that's the key question for Bridget's. If he's fit, they have a real chance in this game. Ben O'Carroll is another very good player there. But like the Corofin, would you say that they're All-Ireland contenders? I know they were over the past few seasons, but being out of the All-Ireland Championship for such a long time now, do you think they've kind of got their mojo coming back into it?
I think it's one of those things that Corofin still have the name value now from their successes that they had in the past. If you see Corofin in the Final Four, they hold an aura now from what they achieved in the late 2010s, from the 3 in a row, from everything like that. So, yeah, honestly, and the confidence that they'll have when they get into the Final Four, the likes of Gary Sice, Michael Farrer, Michael Lundy, I know that they're further along now than they were when they achieved those successes, but they know this road. They know every step, they know every turn, they know every pothole in this road. And if they get to the Final Four, they'll be like, lads, we know how to finish it off from here. And they're in the other side of the draw to Glen, to Kilmacud Crokes, to Scottstown, and to Nace. So they're not going to have to face any of them until they get to the final. The team that they'll face will be either a Dingle or a Castlehaven, and they'll fancy their chances in that game. So it's really, really opened up for them. And the truth is, St. Bridget's is going to be no easy feat to beat them. Because let's be honest, this game is not going to be a pretty game. This game is going to be about who wants it more. And you look at someone like a St. Bridget's who haven't had success in such a long time. Since 2012 was their last All-Ireland Club Championship. They haven't been to the Connacht final since 2016. And Corofin beat them that time. Corofin have gone on to have an absolute wealth of success, and their place as one of the greatest club teams of all time, if not the greatest, is already secured. Bridget's could want it more. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bridget's were to turn them over. I am going to go with Corofin to win, but I do agree with you. I think if Brian Stack is fit, that's a game changer because he can take Gary Sice or someone like that and he could make their influence on the game a lot smaller. So definitely keeping an eye on it. But as of right now, I'm going to go Currafin. But Bridget's will make them push. Bridges will push them every step of the way. Sorry, Bridges will put them through the pin of their collar to get this. I'm expecting a 1-point win for Currafin, potentially after extra time.
It would be very tight, undoubtedly, this weekend. But like Gary Sice, you mentioned him being a main forward. Like another main forward that's popped into my hit for Corfin over the last few games, Jack McCabe. I think he scored 5 points in the semi-final against Ballinast Stephenites. Could he be a game changer in ways? Because Gary Sice has been the game changer for Corfin over the last few years. But could Jack McCabe take up that mantle on Sunday?
Well, it's his perfect opportunity. And that's the truth, is that Brian Stack, if Brian Stack is fit, he's going to get put on to Gary Sice. And that leaves the door open for Jack McCabe to take front and centre and to be the main man. And there's not really much of a bigger stage that he could have had this year to impress the Galway management than right now. The time is now. Like, you want to impress Pádraig Joyce and get into that side for next year, now is the time to do it. And it's going to be a really, really tricky game. It's going to be tough conditions. Like, I do mean this. A good day for Jack McCabe would be if he scores 3 points from play. That's absolutely fantastic if he does that, because the conditions are going to be so tough. The ball is going to be greasy. The surface is going to be greasy. And I expect Currafin to win by like 12 points to a goal and 8 or something after extra time.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight game, alright. So I'll probably back Corfin to win this game as well. It'll be very, very tight from first minute to last. But even looking at the bracket that I put up earlier on, that'll mean our predictions, it'd be Kilmacud against either Wattygramsglen or Scottstown, and it would be Castlehaven or Dingle against Corfin in the semi-final. So who are you backing to win the All-Ireland out of all them? Like, after this weekend, there'll be only 6 teams left.
I said Kilmacud Crokes from the start, and I'm sticking with them. You know, after this weekend, they'll be in the semi-final. Glen and Scottstown are going to flake hell out of each other in that Ulster final. I don't think Naas will get as close to Kilmacud Crokes as Scottstown and Glen will get to each other. And I think Kilmacud will get to the final via that. And then they're playing Currafin or Dingle or Castlehaven or St. Bridget's, and I back them to win that game too. So Kilmacud Crokes for me, and I think if they are going to get caught, they're going to get caught in the All-Ireland semi-final by whoever comes out of Ulster. If they don't get caught in that, they're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, it'd have to be that Kilmacud are favoured. Like I said, Wattygram's name from the start, but kind of leaning towards Kilmacud, given Wattygram's name's kind of performances in the club championship. But then again, I'd argue that good teams come out of sticky situations out of game, no matter what the game. So,
well, that's the truth, is that I was there in Parnell Park when Raheny had them on the ropes. And the atmosphere was complete carnage. Like, you know that noise. You know that type of atmosphere. That anticipation they're about to get knocked out. You know that type of anticipation. When everyone was like, oh my God, Kilmacud Crokes are about to get knocked out. It would have been very, very easy for them to just roll over in that situation and just accept we're out. But with their last play, 3 points down, they worked a goal chance and Luke Ward smashed it into net. And you're just like, right, you can't question their mettle anyway. They showed it when it mattered.
Definitely so. And it'd be definitely a fight between those 3 sides in the draw, assuming obviously the Kilmacud get out of the next game with flying colours. Like, obviously Scottstown and Glen are 2 very good sides as well, and we will see how it progresses in the next few weeks. We'll get on to the hurling in a bit. We'll start off with the LGFA, keep it with the football team, and this is All-Ireland semi-finals this weekend. So you have Ballymacarbery from Waterford up against Clonairon from Armagh. This is the All-Ireland LGFA senior semi-final on Sunday at 1:30 on the LGFA live stream portal. If anybody wants to watch this game, I think it's €5 for a single game for this game. So Ballymacarbery 42 or 43 in a row in Waterford, which is an incredible record. So they deserve to be here, no doubt about that. They have the likes of Breebank Maw, who's a very good player, obviously, Kerry-Ann Hogan. So Waterford seniors coming out their ears really. But Clown Aaron, kind of an unexpected package coming out of Ulster, in all honesty. Like they do have very good Armagh players, not to the level of the likes of the Mackins or Ethan McCoy, but still some very good players, the likes of Niamh Murphy, Niamh Coleman, Avian Henderson, and of course Clodagh McCambridge at full back. So like Ballymacarbry were in the All-Ireland semi-final last year. They lost to Kilkerran Clonbur, probably outplayed off the park on that particular day. Clown Aaron, I think this is their first ever All-Ireland senior semi-final, so there'll be a lot of pressure with them. But who do you fancy in this game? Do you fancy the more experienced campaigners of Ballymacarbry or the new kids in the block in Clown Aaron?
Very tough game. Very tough game. I was impressed with Clon Aaron in the Ulster final. The way that they got the job done. The Coleman sisters obviously combined for that crucial goal. Eve Coleman stuck it away. Clodagh McCambridge, as you mentioned, been outstanding in the back. Been outstanding. Like she's been the key piece of that defence, keeping it all locked down. Ballymacarbry, though, like the dynasty they've had in Waterford, 42 titles in a row, as you said, and the amount of experience, the amount of Waterford inter-county players that they have in their team. Look, they fell short to Kilkerran Clonberne last year, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. Like Kilkerran Clonberne, with the Divleys and with the other players that they have, were outstanding and went on to win the whole thing for the second year in a row. So Kilkerran Clonberne are the real deal, and they're already back in the semi-final on the other side against Kilmacud Crokes. It's just going to be one hell of a game. Yeah, I think Ballymacarbry will want to convert it. Like they've had, as you said, 42 Waterford titles in a row, and only really in the last few years have they started to, convert that into further successes. So they want an All-Ireland to go with that now. And I think they're going to win this semi-final. I think that they will be able to get a handle on the Colemans just enough, and they'll score more down at the other end. I think Clonairen will give it a right good rattle, and they will play with that kind of bit of abandonment, like that they've nothing to lose. They've come this far. They've already done themselves proud. But I just think Ballymacarbry, a little bit more experience that they have of being at this stage, I think that will be enough and they'll get through.
Yeah, I fancy Ballymacarbry to get over the line as well. And worth noting, actually, Michelle Ryan, who's the Waterford legend, is actually, from the last game that I read in the report, she was actually on the bench, which is incredible. She's still going. It's pretty remarkable in its own right. But Kerry-Ann Hogan, Breebank Maw, some brilliant players, and some Waterford seniors in that team, which helps. So, yeah, I'll probably back Ballymacarbry to win that game. But no doubt, Clonairen will be back next year, should they lose this weekend. But this game, this is, as you mentioned, Seamus, this is an absolute dinner of a game. Kilmacud Crokes against Kilkerran Clonberne, 2 p.m. on Sunday on the LGFA live streaming portal. And Kilmacud have the players, there's no doubt about that. The Niamh Cotters of the world, the Ailva Daverns coming from Cork and Galway, respectively. You have Lauren McGee there. You have Michelle Davern is a good enough player as well, from what I'm hearing at club level. So Kilmacud definitely have the talent. They are facing the 2-time in a row All-Ireland champions, so in Kilkerran Clonberne. As you mentioned, the Divity is there. They have some excellent Galway, the Wards as well. Nicola and Louise, some excellent talent there. So group of sisters definitely driving the thing for Kilkerran Clonberne. And if Ailish Morrissey is fit, that's another forward to add to their abundance of talent. But Ailish Morrissey, she got an injury in the O'Connor Cup last year. I'm not sure if she recovered for this game. She got a bit of an ass injury. I'm not sure if she recovered for this particular game. But tough one to call.
No, massively tough. This one's huge. I'm going to go out on a whim here. Whoever wins this game wins the final. Kilkerran Clonberne, 2 in a row champions. You mentioned it, the Wards, the Divleys, Ailish Morrissey. Insane amount of talent. Kilmacud Crokes on the other side. They got to this stage last year and they lost to Donamoyne, but they didn't have Lauren McGee. That's crucial. They didn't have what, in my opinion, is their best player. She's back this year. They've looked fantastic. They have other players like Aoife Kane, the Daverns, Niamh Cotter. This is a massive, massive, massive opportunity for Kilmacud Crokes, because if they beat Kilkerran Clonberne, I think nothing can stop them winning in the final. So it's massive. Like, you look at Kilkerran Clonberne, they've come out of Connacht without minimal fuss. Kilmacud Crokes have starched their way out of Leinster. Like, the Leinster final, they beat Naomh Kieran by 418 to 110. They were 310 to 5 points ahead at half time. Like, They've absolutely put a beating on everybody in Leinster after they got out of a tight Dublin final. Like they beat in that final in Dublin, they beat Na Fianna, who
Mm.
have Leah Caffrey, Hannah Tyrrell, Ailish O'Dowd. Like that's a very, very strong team there in Na Fianna, and they put them away. And with a better team on the night. Now they're coming into this semi-final against Kilkerran and Clonberne. That's a huge test. And you know what? I'm going to go with them to get over the line. I think this year we could see a rare achievement. We could see the women and the men winning the football titles in the same year.
Jeez, this is a big prediction now. You've heard it here on the podcast here. It's a tough one to call, it really is. And even look at Kilcurry Clonburn's team from the last year's All Ireland final. There's another group of sisters. There's Noons there. There's Hannah Noon, there's Lindsay Noon, and there's Ava Noon there as well. You've Chloe Miskell, who scored 4 points for Blade, the All Ireland final. Like, that group of talents is superb to have in the team. But Kilmacud, as you mentioned there, they wiped Leinster. They really did. Laura McGee is going to be key. Like, I've seen her at wing back in the All Ireland semi final against Carter at Semple Stadium. Superb talent. Unreal. Brilliant footballer in general. It's a tough one to call, it really is. I'm going to go Kilcurry Clonberne, but only just about. Like, if Aidish Morrissey is fit for this game, I'd fancy them even more. But I'm just going to back Kilcurry Clonberne because of the experience that they have at this stage. Like, it's going to be a tough one to call. But I definitely agree with you. The winner of this will win the All Ireland. So I'm going to go Kilcurry Clonberne to win this game. We'll go on to hurling now, and we'll go on to the first game in the Fianna against O'Loughlin Gaels. But before that, I'll just throw up the bracket for the All Ireland Hurling Championship, the updated bracket, of course. So St. Thomas's are already in the semi-final. They'll face the winners of Clonlar and Ballygunner. That'll be this weekend. The Fianna and O'Loughlin Gaels also this weekend, and Shotney and Borio will get into all those games. But all the semi-finals will be decided after this weekend. How exciting, really, in the All Ireland Club Championship. And we will start off with the Leinster final. Na Fianna against O'Loughlin Gaels on Saturday at 4:05 on RT2. Strange timing, isn't it? 5 minutes
Yeah.
past 4.
Weird one.
I don't know what at headquarters they're actually thinking about this, but no, just put it at 4 o'clock. Put it at 4:15. Just I know it's OCD and all that, but
Yeah.
just the
Yeah,
normal
no,
time.
it's weird. What are we going to see next? 4:03? Anyway, we'll move with it. But the reality is, look, games start at 4:01 all the time, 4:02. Like, they very rarely throw in on the hour. But look, this game is a huge opportunity for both of these sides. Ballyhouse Shamrocks knocked out. Is that graph that you put up, is that the draw? Are those the
That's the
semi-finals?
draw. Yeah, that's the draw.
There's a massive opportunity for both of these teams because they'll fancy their chances to beat Slough-Neil or Cushendall. They'll come out of the other champion. Or they come out of the Ulster Championship. That's a very even game as well, and then they're into the final. Like,
Yeah.
they're two. Let me put it this way: like Na Fianna and O'Loughlin Girls will be saying this. They are two very winnable games away from the All Ireland final. So it's opened up for them now. I think O'Loughlin Girls will back themselves based off the fact that they beat Ballyhale Shamrocks. They'll feel like, well, if Ballyhale can do it, why can't we? Especially because we beat them. Na Fianna are coming with that underdog mentality. I think that, like, they won the Dublin Championship for the first time ever this year. That's already a success. That's already job done. Well done, guys. You won the Dublin Championship. So now with the Leinster, it's like they have nothing to lose. And if they win this Leinster final, oh, they're going to give the All Ireland a right good crack. And that's why I was saying I put them as dark horses, because in Croke Park, like, big open surface, AJ Murphy, Sean Curry, they've speedsters in this team. Liam Stacey, Kieran Stacey. They've real speedsters in this team, and in a wide open Croke Park pitch that could present some difficulties. Now here's the other side. O'Loughlin Gaels have arguably the best defence in the club championship. Like Mikey Butler, Hugh Lawler, Paddy Deegan. Like, that's 3 outrageously good defenders right off the bat there. Mikey Butler will probably take AJ Murphy. Hugh Lawler will probably go on, I imagine, to someone like a Colin Curry. And that's 2 of Na Fianna's best forwards now being picked up by 2 of the best defenders in the country. So they're going to find it really, really difficult to get the space. If Donald Burke is fit, that's a game changer. I don't think he is. I don't think he will be playing. I haven't heard anything that tells me he will. But if he is, he'll probably get Paddy Deegan on him straight away. If not, Paddy Deegan will probably take someone like a Shane Barrett if he's fit, or John Tierney. It's absolutely massive for Nafina. It's a massive opportunity. And I'm just going to go out on a whim and say, I think they're going to do it. I know I've listed that, the players that O'Loughlin Gales have, but I just feel like Nafina are riding the crest of a wave right now. I think that they had to wait so long to win their first ever Dublin title. I think that momentum from doing that will carry them on to their first Leinster title too. I'm going to go Nafina.
Interesting prediction there. Like, I do argue Stevina have the best attack out of the two teams. There's no doubt about that. I think O'Loughlin Gaels, though, they've got over some superb challenges against Kilcormac, O'Loughlin Gaels, not O'Loughlin Gaels, Mount Leinster Rangers and Carlow, which could have been a hard enough challenge for them. And of course, Ballyhale, the Kilkenny final. I just feel O'Loughlin Gaels have come through more than the Fianna have. And I just feel that could be enough to get them over the line with the defenders that they have, Mikey Butler, Hugh Lawler, Paddy Deegan. Like, you could literally name pick out of them three. You could pick a name out of that, and they'll do a good job on, let's say, AJ Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
They have that kind of talent in defence at the moment. I would agree with you. Yes, they have the best defence in the All Ireland Championship. And what I would say against Kilcormac, that was a potential banana skin last week. I thought they'd succumb to that. They didn't. That shows mental steel and bottle in fairness to them. And it's a brilliant trait to have in a club side. So I'm going to back O'Loughlin Gaels to win this game, but it will be a tight affair.
Yeah, no, it definitely will. Like, I'm saying Nafina to win by a point. Like, I'm saying a dramatic late finish where someone finds a winner. That's what I'm saying for Nafina to win this. I just think it's going to be in the melting pot for both teams. Neither side is going to put the other one away. I think we're going to see a lot of mistakes because teams are nervous at this stage. They've come so far. I think in a helter-skelter finish, I think Nafina could be able to nick a win here. And then it really opens up for them. But yeah, like, it's going to be massive. And look, I'm not dismissing O'Loughlin Gales' ability. Like, up in the forwards, the likes of Mark Bergen and all that. Like, I've been flying the flag high for them throughout the championship and putting up big scores. But I can't shake this sneaky feeling that I think the Fina are going to do it.
Yeah. And we're going for different predictions there, but it's going to be a tight game nonetheless. And you mentioned that great opportunity again to the All Ireland final. They'll face the winners of this game in the semi-final. It's Shalotney from Derry against Rory O'Crushendall from Antrim, and the Ulster final at 2:30 on Sunday. I think it's live on Ulster GATV, but not 100% sure that it's not live at TG Car anyway, which is kind of a shame. The only provincial final not being shown up free to air, which, well, to be fair, the Ulster final isn't really a big event in hurling, so I don't think many would tune into it, to be fair. But it's a tight game nonetheless. Rory O'Crushendall actually came through a very tough test against St. Patrick's of Portaferry in the semi-final. They need a late free for Neil McManus to get the win, to get extra time in that game initially, and then go on to win the game. So they've come through a tough test. Shalotney, on the other hand, maybe a bit easy at Derry, you would argue, and they haven't played a game in a number of months. So, like, does that kind of stand to a team, the fact that they have consistent games on a consistent basis? And if it is, do you think that'd be enough for Rory O'Crushendall to take the win?
I think this one's going to be really, really interesting. Just because you look at Slough-Neil's perspective on this, beaten by Dunloy last year, who then went on to give Ballyhale a right good rattle in the All-Ireland final. Then on the other hand, you had Slough-Neil, who got out 2 years ago and gave Ballygunner the mother of all scares in the semi-final, and Ballygunner went on to win. So we have two teams now that have come out of Ulster in the last couple of years who have ran the eventual champions very close. And that will kind of give inspiration to both of these teams. Look, Cushendall took their eye off the ball against Portaferry. Don't get it wrong, Portaferry were fantastic. The Sands brothers were amazing. They got those goals. They put themselves in the position that they were in, but Cushendall definitely took them lightly and got caught on the hop. Neil McManus steps up, last puck of the game, saves them, drives into the back of the net, sends the game to extra time. Cushendall tore up extra time. hit 3 goals in the extra time period, finish them off. Going into this game, they know that if they even think about playing like that for 10 minutes, this game is over before it even begins. And Slough-Neil, you're right, haven't been tested. The Derry Championship was easy for them. They were out in the football from quite a while ago, so they haven't really been playing football in a long time. So they've only been practicing the hurling, I would imagine. All the efforts of Brendan Rodgers, Chrissy McKay have been going towards the hurling, and that will do nothing but benefit them. So going into this game, Ulster hurling final, Slough-Neil against Cushendall, I'm going to lean towards Slough-Neil. I just think they have more experience of getting over the line in the Ulster finals. Cushendall showed an ability to switch off that I haven't seen from Slough-Neil and hurling in a long time. I think Slough-Neil are more consistent. I think you know what you're going to get, and they know how to get over the line in Ulster finals, so I'm going to go with them, especially because they're carrying the hurt as well from being beaten last year by Dunloy, and you know they want to get that one back. And I know Dunloy got knocked out, but beating the Antrim champions is the next best thing.
Yeah, I'd probably back Slough-Neil to win this game because of what you said, the experience that they have in the team. The likes of, I know they're very good footballers, but they're decent hurlers as well in Shane McGuigan, Brendan Rodgers, Chrissy McKay, of course, Cormac O'Doherty is another good player as well. Shane McGuigan is another very good, able player as well. So obviously Rory O'Cavney, like Malice, and he is a talent that any club side would actually cherish. But I fancy Slough-Neil to win this game, same as you, just because of the experience in that game. But just before we go to the Munster final, who would you fancy getting the other final, given your prediction, first of all, Slough-Neil or Lavina? I'll give you my prediction. So I'd go for probably Slough-Neil or Auckland Gaels. I'll probably go Auckland Gaels just about to get to the other final in December. But what do you think to yourself?
I'm thinking the Fina. So I'm thinking in the Fina Ballygunner final.
Yeah.
Just saying it straight up. I know we still have to preview Clonlara Ballygunner, but I just can see it being Ballygunner and the Fina.
We'll see, and we'll go on to the next game now. That brings us nicely out to the next game. Maybe not nicely because that was kind of a spoiler, wasn't it, Seamus, and who you're predicting to win this game. But like, no disrespect now to Clonlara, they did brilliant to get to the out of the semi-final against Killadallion. But yes, it was a good Killadallion team, and John Conlon, the Galvins, Ian and Cullen, they are absolutely brilliant players. The trouble is, though, in the semi-final, they beat a Killadallion team that were down to 13 men by a last-minute point. That probably just doesn't go into the game with Ballygunner filling you with confidence in a way. So you'd have to expect Ballygunner to win this game in Semple Stadium. Torres said time is 3:30 on Sunday on TG Carroll.
Yeah, I fully expect Ballygunner to win this game. You look at how they have just, like, here's the truth. I would pick Clonlara and Sarsfields to be a very tight game. Ballygunner smoked Sarsfields. I would pick Na Piarsaigh to beat Clonlara. Ballygunner beat Na Piarsaigh fairly easy. So I know the hurling match doesn't always add up, but Ballygunner have to win this game. They're too good. They're simply too good. I was starting to think maybe Sarsfields could run them close. No chance. Sarsfields got absolutely eaten alive by Ballygunner. And the Piarsaigh, I was thinking this one's going to be an absolute epic, just going to go down to the wire. No, Ballygunner just controlled the Piarsaigh for the entire game, never let the likes of Peter Casey or Conor Boylan get going. So I think they have a very, very set plan for the likes of John Conlon, for the likes of Ian Galvin. I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening. I think Ballygunner are going to win this game comfortably. I think it's going to be a 5 or 6 point victory for Ballygunner.
Jeez, it is an interesting prediction. A lot of Clare fans would go after the comments saying that you're being biased and stuff like that, especially with the Clonlara and Sarsfields comments. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I'll be honest.
The
I think
Clonlara Sarsfields will be a tight game.
I don't think so. No, I think Clonlara would hammer them. I
Hammer
don't
them?
think the Cork. Yeah, I don't think the Cork Hurling Championship is that good. I don't think it's up to the standard. It really isn't. When you look at the Cork hurling teams that have come out through the past, like it says it all when the last Cork Munster Championship winner was 2009, Newtown Jandra.
Yeah.
I think that just tells you all you need to know.
When was the last Clare one?
Ballyea, Clonlara. Ballyea did very well against Ballygunner. Let's be fair now, last year.
They
They
did.
did very well.
No, they absolutely did. But I think Ballyea do have better players. I know Ballyea didn't win it this year, but Ballyea have the likes of Tony Kelly. Like, even on his own, Ballyea, like, already off to a flyer there. Then I believe as well in the back they have the likes of Paul Flanagan, Jack Brown. Like, really, really strong team. And I would probably give them more of a chance against Ballygunner than I would give Clonlara. But Clonlara are here, and they have been phenomenal this year. But in the semi-final, their shooting wasn't great against Killadangan for long, long periods. And as you said, they only beat a 13-man Killadangan with a last-minute push, with that last-minute point from Dermot Stritch.
Yeah.
So, do you think they'll be close enough to Ballygunner to do that?
I don't think they will. I don't think
So.
Ballygunner will
And
win.
I'm not disrespecting Clonlara. I'm not saying Clonlara are bad. I'm not. I think Clonlara would beat whoever comes out with the Leinster Championship. I just think Ballygunner are going to win the whole All Ireland. I think Ballygunner are going to beat St. Thomas's in the final, and I think they're going to beat whoever comes out with the other side of the draw in the final. I don't see anybody stopping them. I think they're too good. The Na Piarsaigh game for me was the one that I was looking at and thinking, okay, if Na Piarsaigh can't get close to you, who does?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think Ballygunner would win this game easily enough as well, especially what happened in the Piarsaigh game. I thought the Piarsaigh could really put it up to them, but they ended up not putting a glove on them, really, other than the Adrian Breen last minute goal,
It
of
was
course.
disappointing, to be honest, wasn't it?
It was, to be fair, yeah. Especially, like, I go to college in Limerick, I wanted the Piarsaigh to do well for the Limerick voice more than anything, but it just didn't seem to get going, did it? It really
Yeah.
didn't. It really got a last bit of goal. It kind of G's up the crowd a bit. David Dempsey had a goal chance, didn't go its way, and then Ballygunner go up the other end and get a point. Like, it's that kind of a team mentality with Ballygunner as well. They're just an outstanding team. There's no qualms about that. But what I was saying, questioning really was Clonlara and Sarsfield being a tight game. And I'll answer your question on the Munster. The last clear team to win the Munster Senior Championship was Ballyea themselves in 2016 against the Cork club, Glen Rovers. So maybe that's another indicator that the Clare Championship is better than the Cork Championship. And maybe we're going off kilt in this, but just a final question on this. You think the Cork Championship is equal to the Clare Championship?
No. Not right now. Not right now, but I think in a once-off game, I would lean towards Clonlara to beat Sarsfields, but I would say it would be fairly close. Do you think they'd get smashed?
Yes, because I think number one, Cork clubs don't do well in Munster historically, and I think they're very, very poor over the last few years. And number two, Sarsfields are not a team that do well in the Munster Championship. You look at it over the last few seasons, they had Kilmallock on the ropes in 2014. They failed to get over the line in that game. They didn't do bits in 2012, 2010, and 2008 either. I just don't think Sarsfields are a Munster team, whereas Clonlara had the feel of a Munster team in that game against Killadangan. So I just feel that Clonlara would have had Sarsfield's age in that game. I don't think it would have been tight.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll never know. But yeah, I do think Clonlara would have won for the record, but I just feel like it would have been a 2 or 3 point game.
Interesting. We'll agree to disagree on that, but we'll go on to the next games. And to finish off the podcast, it is the Camogie semi-final. So it's Dixborough against Lockheed and Shamrock. So it's the Kilkenny champions against the Antrim champions on Clover at 2 p.m. And Clover are actually streaming the All-Ireland Camogie Club Championship, which is brilliant in senior, intermediate, junior level, which is absolutely brilliant to see. And Clover obviously doing great work this year, and fair play to Clover all throughout the club championship in general, during the Kerry Championship Leash and all that. And it's superb coverage, in fairness. But Dixborough, like, they've had a few disappointments in Leinster. They came through St. Vincent's this time around. Like, Aoife Prendergast was outstanding in that game. And that AIB thing with Aoife Prendergast and Aisling Barr, they were actually, they had cameras on them during the game. And it was brilliant to see, the perspective of the player. which I think is superb to see and definitely worth checking out. But Dicksboro won that game. Lockheed Shamrocks, they won against Drummond Inch in last year's semi-final in the All-Ireland. They came damn close against Sarsfields and Galway in the final as well. Roisin McCormick is the highlight player there. So would you expect Dicksboro to come out and win this game, or will Lockheed Shamrocks repeat history?
I think it's going to be extremely close. Like, I do think I am expecting it to be a Sarsfields from Galway and the Lockheed Shamrocks final. Just about. Like, again, a repeat of last year's final, I know. But it's going to be absolutely huge, this game. Like, Lockheed Shamrocks, as you said, Roisin McCormick is the key player here for them. They absolutely destroyed their opponents in the Ulster final. Absolutely destroyed them. Wasn't even a contest. They are the dominant force up in Ulster and have been for a few years. So now they're coming into this semi-final against Dicksboro, who ended the Vincent's dynasty there in Leinster. Like, Vincent's were the dominant team in Leinster for a while. Dicksboro put an end to that, and in a very, very dramatic Leinster final as well. The likes of Aoife Prendergast were fantastic in that game. I know she was around the camera, but it was well worth putting the camera on her for that game because she was fantastic in it. This one's really difficult to call. I'll probably lean towards Lockheed Shamrocks based off the fact that I think they will feel like they have unfinished business with last year. I think they're going to go for the whole thing, and I think they're going to go for the prize. This is going to be a cracker, though. I think Dicksboro will approach it as a team that are, riding high off a Leinster championship, maybe an unexpected Leinster championship for some people. They've got none to lose. I know I've said that a few times, but Lockheed Shamrocks will feel like this isn't where they want to be. They want to be in the final, and they want to be winning the final. It's going to be a cracker, but I lean to Lockheed ever so slightly.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game, all right. And Lockheed definitely put it up to Saracens and Galway last year in the All-Ireland final, and definitely you'd fancy them in that sort of context to reach the All-Ireland final. But look at Dicksboro's players here. They have some decent players, actually. Kira and Nia Phelan in the back line. You have Asha McHardy in the forwards, Amy Clifford and Jenny Clifford, the captain, in the forward line. And you also have Rachel Dolan and Aoife Prendergast as the key. If Lockheed Shamrock stop her, I think it's the same really for Dicksboro. If they stop Roisin McCormick, I'd imagine one of the feelings Niamh or Ciara will go on Roisin McCormick. I would think so anyway. So it's a difficult one to call. I'm gonna edge it towards Dicksboro. I think they have some decent players. They have the Kilkenny mentality, obviously, to get them over the line. So I'm going to back Dicksboro for this game. The next game, I know who you're going to say to win this game, and the team starts with an S and ends with an S. It is Sarsfields v Sarsfields All-Ireland Senior Camogie semi-final on Saturday at 4 p.m. on Clover. In all, it's the Sarsfields with Cork against the Sarsfields with Galway. I just thought I'd put that in brackets, but they have some good players both sides. Obviously, Sarsfields and Cork did very well to get here. Obviously, beating Drummond into the Munster final last week. Yeah, we mentioned some of their players at the start of the podcast, like Evie Toomey playing with the Edge FA team with Glanbire and the Camogie team in Sarsfields. You also have the likes of Orla Mullins and Lucy Allen and Molly Lynch, who are very good players and could be called up to the Cork team next year. For certain. And when you look at Galway Sarsfields, all are the champions. They're a very good side. Obviously, the McGraths and Orla, Siobhan, Niamh, they're very, very good players. Obviously, I would say Sarsfields and Galway have the edge in this game, but it's going to be still tight. Like Sarsfields and Cork, they'll definitely put it up to them.
Well, that's it. And the question coming into this game for me is more so about hunger. Like, Sarsfields from Galway have been to the top of the mountain. Like, the McGrath sisters have been the key players now for the last few years. And you're wondering, like, do they have it in the tank to go and do it again? Sarsfields from Cork made history, by breaking past, what's the name of that team again? Sorry, just on top of my head. Shandoon. They made history getting past them. Shandoon have had a grip on Cork for a while now. Got past them, carried that into beating Drummond Inch, who were the defending Munster champions in the Munster final. Like, they're going to feel like they're bulletproof going into this semi-final. And for Sarsfields from Galway, do they have that same hunger? If they've been to the top of the mountain and Sarsfields from Cork haven't in quite a while, they're going to carry this absolute drive and determination to get there. And you would actually wonder, could that be enough to overpower Galway's Sarsfields? It's going to be very, very interesting to see. Obviously, in terms of experience, in terms of being at this stage, you go for the defending All-Ireland champions. And if I was to put my life on it, I would say Galway Sarsfields. But if I was to put a bet on it, be tempted to go with Cork's ones.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight game. Like, I'd be interested to see how Orla Mullins and Lucy Allen play in this game. Obviously, Lucy Allen got the 2 goals in the Munster final and is in exceptional form, to be fair. But even look at some of the Sarsfields Galway players. You have Shannon Corcoran there, who's normally a very good club player. I watched her last year against Lochiel, and I was very impressed. You look at Sarah Spellman is another good player that they have on the team. Maria Cooley's another good player. So I'd have to fancy Sarsfields and Galway to get over the line in this game. But one thing's for certain, Sarsfields will win this game. There's no doubts about that. But before we end the podcast, anyway, what would be your shock prediction or shock take of the week? I'll put it that way. And who will be your player of the week?
Like it's in shock of the weekend, like something that we don't see coming.
Something like that, yeah. It's very similar to bet of the week, but you kind of don't want to say bet of the week just to, there's a lot of gambling problems, etc.
Surprise of the week, we'll say, maybe.
Yeah.
Surprise of the week, I'll go Sarsfields of Cork to beat Sarsfields of Galway. Player of the week. Very difficult. Player of the week, I will go with AJ Murphy when the Fianna beat O'Loughlin Girls.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll go surprise of the week. It's a tough one. I'm probably going to lean towards Dicksboro beating Lockheed Shamrocks. I think that would be a shock in the Camogie world. I know Dicksboro have brilliant players, but Lockheed Shamrocks obviously reached the All final last year. And player of the week, I'm going to go for a footballer this time around. I'm going to go for Shane Walsh. Why not? He's an outstanding player. He probably will do well in the Leinster final on Saturday. But then again, you could say the same about Paul Mannion, or you could say the same about Darragh Mullen. Simply about that Kilmacud team. But that's where we leave the podcast. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thanks for